Go back to this screen. No. Hide yourself. Thank you. Alright. Hey! Back to Welcome Map Empath Nation Part 11. I allegedly heard the last time around. Where do we leave off, you guys? Good God. It's so hot without this fan. If you hear a fan in the background, it's because I'm hot. I'm in Kuwait. Get in, John. Get in.
Can I propose something based off of what, Rebecca, right?
Yep.
Can I propose something based off of that? What is the, or at least can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
What is the point of like these like child sex rings have to do with like gaining energy, using energy, or manipulating children?
I can't explain that. I can explain that.
Basic energy. What the hell does that have to do with anything?
I can explain that. Nitro, you go first.
Alright.
Go ahead, Nitro.
Wait a minute. He asked her first.
No.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Come on, Nitro. Go first.
Alright. So, the reason why that they've been able to control us so hard is because the English is actually spelled in the spelling language, and they've been doing black market rituals with the media in Hollywood for years. That's why they call it Hollywood, because Holly actually is a black magic symbolism, and also so they control all of Hollywood. They all do pedophilia. They all do bestiality. They all do freaking.
Wait. I have to interrupt you. John?
What?
John, ask your question again.
Yeah.
Ask your question again.
Okay. What is?
Wait. Ask your question again. What's the point? That was the question. No offense. What's the point?
Yes. What is the significance of this child rape, the child sex rings of all these celebrities and people of power? What's the point of all that?
The short answer is black magic control, but you have to explain that, because you know that what does that mean? Because there's a lot of different aspects to that. The bottom line is the adrenochrome, which is they get from the babies when they scare the goddamn shit out of them, slit their fucking throats, and harvest their blood. So when they have that negative energy that's in the blood, they do black market rituals, they do sex magic, they do bestiality, they do homosexuality, all kind of shit. And they have 65,000 kids they just released. They don't even have fucking birth certificates. Literally, that's what this coronavirus is about. They're releasing the kids, the 168,000 fucking secret indictments. You know, they do black market magic rituals. That's it.
All right.
And that's the difference between the Illuminati and the Cabal. The Cabal is over the Illuminati, and over the Illuminati is the Demiurge. The Demiurge actually controls everything. So the Cabal is the control through symbolism of the magic of the language of English, which is a spell. Everything you say, I create as I speak. Abracadabra.
I love you for it. Nitro, Becky, what do you think?
Well, no, I agree with everything that Nitro said, and again, it goes back to it generates that fear, and that's the point with, like you said, with the children and creating that fear, that intense fear. It's a strong battery. Basically, it's a
why?
We're a food source.
Why is it? Why is children?
The fountain of youth. That's why they're all looking. That's why they all look like crypt keepers right now, because they don't have the access to the adrenochrome.
Well, think about it. Children have the highest. How do I want to put this?
You're close. You're close. It's not about innocence. Think about science. Don't think about religion. Don't think about religion. Innocence is religious perspective. It's a scientific fact. Children, at a very young age, produce trillions of atoms. More than any human being can produce in their entire lifetime. As we deprogram them, they produce less and less and less, and therefore we have a result of what we have a result of. But children between the ages of 1 and 3 produce the highest output that adrenal gland can actually put out.
And the reason why
so if they're at their highest percentage of that, then you go throw in fear. Think about how strong the potential of that.
Well, fear is an emotion, and emotion creates power.
Yes.
Power is what we call what our brain does. When we have an emotional scenario, our brain actually releases synapses that releases an electrical charge in our brain. It actually produces energy. In that synapse, in that moment, yes, if you knew what you were doing, you 100%. Right. Now, let's not look at children.
Actually,
wait.
Transmit neurotransmitters between the synapses, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's not look at children like children. Let's not look at children like human beings would. Oh my God, you're killing children. It's the worst thing in the world. Let's look at children like they do. Plants. It's a harvest. The best time to harvest is when it's the best time. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the collective perception goes, real talk for both of you. That particular reality, I had this conversation with Becky the other day. That particular reality of conversation, in truth, we can't change unless we actually have a collective force of empaths that can impact reality enough to create a change. What we need to focus on is what we can change as an individual collectively, which is what we're existing in presently. I'm not saying Black lives don't matter. I'm not saying George Floyd don't matter. What I am saying is I'm aware of the bigger picture. But without the ability or the advanced vibrational energy that the human body needs to put out to make that change, there's nothing we can do about that. As a collective, there's nothing we can do about that.
QAnon's actually addressing that right now, and we could address the positive energy to transition to the new timeline. But the reason why I agree with what you said about the atoms or whatever, when you are growing from a baby to an adolescent, you do have millions of extra neurons or synapses or whatever, and they got to go through a change called pruning. So once you make your pruning, okay. It's called pruning. And so once you make your neurons in your brain or whatever, and you make paths of memories, anything that's not used is put away. So that's why I agree with what you said, because there's a lot of extra neurons that they can actually get rid of when the baby gets older and gets what you said programmed.
Reprogrammed, yes, exactly. Again, babies. I can look at it from a religious point of view. It's considered an abhor of God. An abhor of God is the ultimate form of blasphemy. It's unforgivable. It's where you sacrifice an innocent child, if we consider innocent, but scientifically produces the most amount of electrons or protons that an individual can actually produce. It's better to kill a child. It's easier to create fear in a child than it is an adult. It's simply about science. Now, if it was more effective to kill adults, that's what we would hear about. We wouldn't hear about child death. We would hear about adult death. If it was more effective for teenagers, we would hear about teenagers. We wouldn't hear about children. But for this reality, simple factor is the human energy.
Children are easier to produce, children are easier to control, children are easier to create fear.
And manipulate.
Yep.
Yes, it's the most effective way scientifically and spiritually and magically. It's just that simple. That's why children are the target source. It's not because, oh my God, I'm a fucked up mentality motherfucker and I want to attack children. It's because I'm a scientist at heart and I know the prime energy source that I need is children.
Well, a lot of those they're just sick fucks that like children anyway. They call them pedivores because they actually eat the kids.
Yes, it's important too.
Well, there's that.
Well, the reality is, in every...
It's no different than feeding animals. It's the same thing. Like they say, listen... I'm sorry. Go ahead.
In every reality, through exists through history, for any spell to truly be complete, you need to create the physical and combine with the spiritual. Because of the simple fact that the human mind is a spiritual reality. but the physical body is physical. So you have two entities. It's what we call balance. You need to create both realities to sync each other to create a more powerful effect.
Well, actually, you have the physical, the mental, and the ethereal, and those the triunity together.
Well, most people don't even know how to use the ethereal from that perspective. Most people just luck out. Those people who actually can use the ethereal, true talk. Most people who can actually use, I wouldn't even call it the ethereal. We call it different things. The superconscious. Most people who can actually use the superconscious in physical life, you don't really hear about.
Most people don't, and they don't realize that 95% of your reality is created through your subconscious.
Yes, they do not. That's what makes them perfect slaves or sleepers or muggles.
That's why they're controlled through television, through programs or programming their mind. That's why I haven't watched television in the last 7 years. I watch Netflix, but I choose what I want to watch, when I want to watch it. I don't get into fear porn and fucking TV. That's why when I just went out earlier tonight, I didn't know that my whole street on 87th, there's no store that I could go to because they've all been looted. What the fuck?
Okay.
The liquor store.
First of all,
looted. I didn't know.
First of all,
I don't listen to news.
Neither do I. But first of all, that level of control is, I would say, 1900s. All right? There's much new levels of control. The reason why you, John, Rebecca, and myself are maintain actual own conscious perception is simply because we will it. But there's millions of form of programming that exist in society every day that you don't need to watch television anymore to exhibit their reflects on your life. The reality is we choose a different perspective, and because of it, we see beyond that. Granted, myself included, and I know for a fact the rest of you included, every now and then our muggle behavior kicks in. Areas of our mind, it's what it is. Areas of our mind that are still programmed that we don't have a control over. Why? Because we live in an environment that there is no control. An environment's one set of our programming. That's why I'm choosing to live off the grid. That's why I choose not to live in a city. That's why John loves it so much living in a country atmosphere. Because less influence. Just like anybody with any psychic power, the more people that are around you, the harder it is to control. That's the same aspect.
I'm not a people person anymore.
The reality is, once your vibration. Listen to me.
Once I get my fill of peopling, I call it peopling, being around people. I gotta go recharge.
The fact of the matter is, once you create a certain conscious acceptance, that's what makes an empath. Yes, there are many born empaths, but true empaths are found within themselves. Eventually, something is said that awakens that. That basically, on a scientific level, creates more vibration in your body and more frequency. You pull in more atoms. That means you can perceive people on a deeper level, but as well as perceive deeper truths. And that, in my opinion, is evolution. At that point, you're no longer human. You're just an empath. And when you're no longer human, you can't stand humans. It's that simple. Whether they're your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your fucking girlfriend, your fucking daughter, your fucking son, your best friend, or your worst enemy. It doesn't matter. At that point, a certain amount of energy inflicts you and makes you feel sick. Makes you feel physically and mentally sick. And there's only so much time that you can take on that energy before you go, I need you to fuck out of my life. It's that simple. I need you to fucking go. If you ain't paying me $500 an hour to talk to you, you gotta go. Get the fuck out. And the only reason you would accept that money is because we all exist in that level of programming. We all exist in that level of environment. It's what it is. Anybody else got something to say?
Yeah, I do.
Wait, we have 20 seconds left. Can you say it in 15 seconds, or should we start a new episode?
That's why I love the idea of your empath nation, though. Coming together, all of us, recharging each other, and then being able to function back out in the world after we come together.
There's the alarm. We're gonna get back into it. Empath Nation, everybody, we love you. Blah, blah, blah. All that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Namaste. Which means, nah, you must stay. I'm gonna go over here.
In your house, in quarantine.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to your house on quarantine. Don't worry. I don't come with a mask. You better give me one.
Fuck that, man.